Well, hey, it's Tuna.
And I'm Dr. Michael Gross. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for being with us.
Happy Sunday, everyone. I hope you're loving the 7 o'clock time that we're at now because our weather, well, up in the Pacific Northwest, it keeps changing.
Yeah.
But, we have a lot of daylight right now, and it doesn't start getting dark until night. So it's really kind of cool that we're doing this time of night. We appreciate your time. But on that note, we have a powerful message. It's part 5. I know. All right. Part 5. If you missed any of the other ones, they're all in there in our Facebook pages. Okay. They're also up on our YouTube pages. And we highly recommend that you guys go and subscribe to our YouTube pages because they are, what's the right word? Phenomenal.
Yes, they are.
Okay. Michael has an awesome message. I'm going to get.
Hey, pause for a moment.
We always have such a good time when we get together. And here he comes. Okay. He is the incredible author of The Spiritual Primer, the best-selling book I've ever read. And I continue to read it even 2 years after I got it. There's so many golden nuggets in here. And I just want to let everybody know that if you don't have your copy, Michael, I'm going to give you a plug.
Okay.
Michael has a brand new edition coming out really, really soon. So on that note, I'm going to give the floor to Michael for a minute.
All right. And I'm holding this marvelous book, this wonderful book, Healing the Holes in Your Soul by T.U. Knapp. And we talk about this every week, but really it's a must read. Sometimes you can't give enough accolades. Sometimes the simplest accolade that we can give is you need to read this. It's very inspirational. Whether you have been abused or not, and I think all of us have been abused in some way. If not physically and mentally, emotionally, we've been bullied. That's another way of abuse. There are all kinds of abuse, or people are opinionated or put you down. This gives you the strength to overcome it, to find your true self, to learn about self-worth, self-love, and self-esteem. So this is a book you need to read. I'm flashing it before your eyes because it's very, very motivational and educational. So thank you.
So start here, because if it wasn't for this book and this wonderful man over here that I'm honored to be with today, that book wouldn't even have a life. Okay. And I don't know exactly how my life would unfold. So I'm incredibly honored and blessed that this book and this man opened the door to a beautiful life for me. He holds the key for all of us.
To this book.
Okay.
We're having fun today, so pardon
Bookends.
us, but we like to have fun. We love to joke around. We love to have humor. And this is a serious book, though, everyone. So
This is a serious book. That's a serious book. But we're quite the characters because as much as we share in our books, we have learned how to just enjoy life and have fun hanging out and, feeding off each other. We have such fun getting together. It's almost embarrassing. Okay. On that note, I'm going to go ahead and do the proper introduction for Michael. I typically read it because it's the one thing that we script. Everything else is not scripted. Michael channels the information he shares with you, and sometimes he even has silent pauses. So if that happens, don't worry, because he'll come back around and he has powerful messages. You used to creep me out when you did that. I'm like, what? Leave me here on the screen by myself, and you're off somewhere else. But he comes back with valuable messages. So on that note, I don't know why I had to say that, but I did. Okay, Dr. Michael Gross is an author, professional keynote speaker, transformational coach, and an entrepreneur. For more than 3 decades, he's been on a spiritual path as an intuitive, a healer, a spiritual counselor, and an incredible teacher. Through the guidance of spirit, Michael has assisted others in their personal quest for self-empowerment, helping them to create the lives that they have long sought and to bring forth their own intuitive abilities. Michael currently teaches classes in spirituality, self-empowerment, I love those words, Reiki, and other modalities. In concert with God, the true source, he has also achieved great success and miraculous healings And I just have to commend Michael on his miraculous healings, because I had surgery just a couple weeks ago. And on day 4, I was out running around as if life was almost normal. Yeah, there was a little pain and discomfort, but you know what? I was out running around back in the world, and I thought, wow, that's fast recovery. So I just had to tell him that.
Thank
It's not in the script. See, I've already gone off the script. But that's because I feel awesome and ever growing more awesome, right? So anyway, back to the script. He remains humble, knowing the work that he does all comes from God, the true source. Michael lives in Lakewood, Washington, and he's just launched his nonprofit. And I'm going to let him introduce his nonprofit really quick to you so that you can learn more about it. And we'll keep you posted on it.
All right. Thank you. The name of the nonprofit is the International Institute of Self-Empowerment. And the initials are TIISC, we call it TISI, the International Institute of Self-Empowerment. It's a 501c3, and we're proud of that designation. And when Spirit told me to put this together, I said, well, I don't know what I'm going to use it for, but I'll just do it. So I did, and then I met TU, and it was a conceptual page of the stage rather at that time, and realized her story about abuse and all the things she talks about in the book. And after this was completed and all set up, I invited her to be director of working with those souls that have been abused. And she agreed, which really honored me. So you've heard this before. We're busy getting together grants, and we're accepting donations. So if you wish to make a donation, we would be happy. You can make it out to the International Institute of Self-Empowerment. There'll be contact information, and we'll be forwarding to our bank. And of course, you get a tax deduction. So that's another real plus coming up. Anyway, it's going to be divided into 12 segments. The first segment is working with abused women and children and men, and then the other 11 will fall into place. And I've noticed for me, I've written a book, written the 12 spiritual laws. And my next book late this fall will be the 12 protocols of manifestation, or 12 manifestation protocols. Notice the number 12, 12, 12, 12. That's a really important number, and we'll get into it another time. But it's a huge undertaking that TU has agreed to help me with, and working with abused women and children. And of course, she's a very brave soul, because it may bring up some old memories, but I know she's worked very hard in healing them. So I wanted to invite you all to that. And then we can talk about my Words of Wisdom calling when we end.
Yeah, we'll wrap that up at the end. Let's get moving
the
to
mass consciousness healing. So now we've planted a seed. Let's get going.
We have some information that we'll share with you later, and it will also be in the contact. Okay.
Yes.
It'll be in the contact.
Yes, it will.
I'll make sure. I'll make sure. Okay. One more time. Our topic today is. Be honest. Your direction in life?
Part 5.
I'm sorry. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put a tickle lock on my mouth and turn it over to this man.
Well, thank you. So this is the last in the series, I think. I always say I think, because I got the true source when you say, Michael, you need to add something else. Therefore, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about part 5. And that's over the age of 60 or 65 to your birth in your body. And I want you to look at everything and think about whatever age you are. Remember, whatever you believed or your belief system was at 15, change at 20, change at 30, etc. And it keeps changing. So here you are in the autumn of your years, around 60, 65. And stop to think of all the wisdom you have learned, all the wisdom you have, all the changes in your life. One of the ways in which we receive wisdom is we learn what worked and didn't work. That's so important, because what didn't work, let's say at age 15 or 20 or 30, may change and may work now. So we're going through a huge, huge change, a huge evolution in social media, marketing, and everything we do. And 30 years ago, 25 years ago, you read the newspapers. Newspapers were great. They had all kinds of ads. And maybe you read the funnies. and you couldn't wait to get the weekend Sunday because it was very thick, had all those wonderful ads. Well, newspapers are slowly dwindling, and we get a lot of our information online, which, in a way, it saves newsprint and all that stuff. But then again, sometimes you would take the Sunday newspaper and it would hang around for a week, and certain sections you would keep for a couple of weeks. Now, you don't do that anymore because you don't get the newspaper, you get it online, and things are changing. One of the interesting things about social media and even the news on social media, it is no longer newsworthy. What I mean by newsworthy, they don't print the facts. Now, granted, I'm sure there are a few of them that do print the facts, but in truth, it's someone else's opinion, which is fine as long as you realize it's someone else's opinion. Now, I will agree that there was a fire in 27th Street. That's not somebody's opinion because it actually happened. But there are other things that someone are giving opinions. And so you are all old enough that are watching this and more aware enough that when you hear the news audibly, or maybe you watch it visibly, that a great deal is someone else's opinion, which is fine. The only thing I ask you all to be aware of, it's their opinion. And that's what's so important. And remember, in the news or media world, if it bleeds, it leads. And so what we've forgotten about is all these beautiful things that people do, how they save lives, how they're caring, how they do fundraising, how they give up their spare time to help others. We don't hear that anymore. All we hear is chaos, 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 chaos. And that's what's so sad right now. How about getting both sides of the coin? Talking about the chaos and talking about the beautiful things souls do. But rarely do you see it. So now that you're in the autumn of your years, I'm going to not probably, but I want to suggest that when you look at Facebook or the news or Fox or NBC, ABC, CBS, CNN, or whatever you will listen to, or podcasts, whomever, try to find those that are very encouraging and positive. I mean, we can look around us and we see people in fear and doubt and insecurity. Here in the state of Washington, you don't have to wear your mask unless you're in the hospital. People are still wearing their masks and they're worried, and living in fear. Well, the bottom line is if you're going to get it, you're going to get it. And sometimes there's a reason why you're going to get, whether it's a cold, the flu, the coronavirus, or chicken pox, or whatever the dickens it is. It's because it's going to improve and help your immune system. And that's what's so really positive. And part of my concept of sharing all this information is for you to take a look at yourself now in the autumn of your years to see what a great thing you have done in your life, how you have accomplished so much in your life. You've gone through rainstorms, snowstorms, anger, frustration, loss of jobs, children, parents maybe birthing out of their body, children maybe getting very sick or birthing out of their body. I mean, you've experienced so many things in your life. It's huge. But look what you've learned. It's priceless. Today, one of the greatest fears, one of my board of directors, who's an educator, said that young children, are not going to college as much. And I said, well, why? Well, of course, they're in debt. We know that. But the other part is because they think they can Google everything and find all the answers. Wonderful. Isn't that great? So if I want to find an answer, how to run a $3 billion company, I just go on Google and it'll tell me how to do it. Well, that's totally ridiculous. It's ridiculous because every business, everything is unique to its own. Now, there are certain principles that apply to all of them. But other than that, the daily operation of a business is unique. But let's compare it to your life. Isn't how you orderly run your life and do in your life, isn't it unique to you? Now, there are some examples, like a lot of people, when they're in the autumn of the years, maybe they retire, they like to go out to breakfast and meet friends and chew the fat, as I say. And I see that a lot of times. I see it frequently.
Chew the fat?
Chew the fat. In other words, talk to each other and share their knowledge and so on and so forth.
I haven't heard that in a long time.
Yeah, it's an old cliche.
I love that.
The other day, one of my clients invited me to over to her apartment. And this is a place that where for elderly only. They have beautiful services. It's not a nursing home, but they have great services. And she invited me to dinner, and we sat down. And it's a place where you pay a huge fee, and it's like a condo, which it is, but you own your apartment. And hers was 1900 square feet,
Wow.
and it's just beautiful. But more importantly, we got down to sit dinner, and I observed while we're having the dinner, and people were talking, and they're all retirees, and some of them were in 90s and 100, and they were laughing and having a good time and sharing their knowledge and joking around, and everybody said hi to everybody and was warm and friendly. Because one of the things we need to understand is we're social animals. Being a social animal, Zoom is great, free conference call is great, Skype and all that other stuff. However, we like to be around people, like to touch people. We like to hear people. We like to see their expressions, and we like to be with others. So here we are in our latter part of our years, and we realize so much socialization is there. But here's what you have that's invaluable, that nobody can take from you. That is your life experiences. And your life experiences are so important. And here's what I challenge all of you to do. Spend some time, write down some of your life experiences and what you learned, what you did had to undo and redo, or whatever it may be. Or maybe your timing was too early, or whatever it is. And I was reading back, I think it was in the late 50s or early 60s, this man proved you can run a car on water. And they all laughed at him. He actually poured water into the car.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that. Oh no, we've dated ourselves, huh?
Yes, we have. But really, it was hydrogen power. And now they have hydrogen powered cars. So many things we laughed at now have come to fruition. And, when I looked at my grandparents, I said, well, now they see the airplane, and wow, they got TV, and oh, now they got rocket ships going to the moon. And, we just began to play with computers. And I thought, wow, we're never going to see as much as they did. Well, we've seen a lot more, and we got a lot more to come. There are so many things that are going to be coming down the road. Not only have you got your computers, you got your cell phone. In fact, your cell phone has more working energy in it, or computer energy, than some of the computers when they first came out in the 80s and 90s. It's phenomenal, and it's faster. So we think things change. The major changes are coming up, which is going to be phenomenal, is virtual reality and artificial intelligence, which is going to change our market. And I was talking to someone and seeing what the future looked like. And part of that future is like, oh, it's going to be 10 or 20 years away. It's going to be 3 to 5 years away. You're going to be buying things online. In other words, with your virtual reality goggles or glasses, you're going to be like you're talking to me, and you're going to be saying, Michael, I want a pair of shoes, and they got to be white, and I'll bring them over and try them on to you, and you'll see what it feels like. You'll imagine what it's be, and then you push a button, and it'll be shipped from the warehouse right to your home within a matter of days, or whatever clothing. And then in the future, your houses are going to be different. They're going to be made of composite materials, much like Boeing is using to build airplanes.
Wait, excuse me, what?
Composite.
They're using composite material on airplanes?
Yes. They're supposedly stronger than the aluminum they're using.
Wow, I hadn't heard that. I'm sorry for interrupting, but
That's okay.
Wow, I had no idea.
Well, they've been doing that for the last 10, 15 years or something like that. Or 20.
Where have I been?
I don't know. But your house is going to be made of composites. You push a button on a computer, you make it look like brick, stucco, wood. Same thing with your interior walls. There'll be any color you want them to be, and you'll be changing your mind on what the colors are going to be. And then the houses are going to be built in a much different way. And it's going to be a lot more quickly done. And it's going to incorporate your thoughts or whatever you believe it to be. Those are some of the things. And then we're going to have robots doing a lot of the work that we used to do.
Okay, speaking about robots. Robotic surgery is phenomenal. I'm sorry, I just had to tell you,
Go
if
ahead.
robotic surgery is an incredible science, absolutely incredible science, and I've been blessed to have that experience, and I'm just like blown away by what they can do with technology. It's insane. Definitely, I'm glad I'm around here to experience stuff like that. Long before my mom and dad have been gone for a while, but holy moly, what's happened. And I mean, look at how we've all grown.
Yes.
Look at how technology has changed our lives, just like what you're saying. And whether we're in the autumn of our years or not, we need to look at that and grasp that and understand what's coming down the pipeline and be ready.
Exactly. So these are the things that are going to be going on. And of course, people say, well, it's going to displace jobs. Yeah, it is. But, we'll be building robots. No, we won't. They'll build themselves. And your animals will be fed by robots, and we may not eat as much beef or whatever. Maybe that's good. Maybe it isn't. I'm not going to talk about the attributes of becoming a vegetarian or vegan or being, as they say, plant based or being carnivore, whatever it fits for you. But even those things are going to be changing and exactly how it's done. The danger with all this is that we're going to be, collective you or we, sitting in our homes, and we're going to become more and more isolated because we're not going to have the interaction. Fortunately, we understand what that is who are listening to this because we realize the importance of socialization. And even some of the younger crowd, but some of them being born now, are becoming more and more reclusive. And it's going to be our job in the future to get them out of the shell, to meet more and more people and get out there and realize the importance of interaction. Because not only can you touch and feel someone, but you read their energy and thoughts, you feel their joy, their happiness. You pick it up intuitively, psychically, energetically. That's what's so important. And that cannot be conveyed through artificial intelligence or virtual reality. Cannot be. So those are the things we begin to look at and we need to be aware of. Now, I want to go back to what I was talking about, all your knowledge. And it's so important for you to document this. Put down what you've learned, what you've experienced. Sometimes we have to go 5 different steps to reach where we want to be at a certain age. And I know for myself, I have vast knowledge because I went to school of hard knocks. You've heard that one, right?
I went there too.
Yeah, we got our head banged against the wall. We made mistakes. We felt guilty. All this stuff. But somehow or another, here we are. Now you're a plethora of knowledge. That is priceless. That knowledge, those experiences you had are unique to you only. But now I challenge all of you, or we would say charge all of you, to start writing it down and share this knowledge in some kind of a book or some kind of notes or whatever. Because pass it on to your children and grandchildren, in which your grandchildren will poo poo it and say you're old fashioned, yada, yada, yada. And then one day when they run into a brick wall, I wonder what grandma and grandpa would do, or mom and dad would do. And all of a sudden, whoa, they will understand this is great knowledge because it's priceless. And, we need to understand all that because one of the great quotes from the true source is, are you a slave of your fears or master of your fate? Or if you want to say a slave of your fears or a master of your life, whatever you want to use that nomenclature. It is so important for you to realize. So now you are the master of your life. That means you determine your life. You go left, right, back, forward, whatever you desire to do. And you're not an old fogey. You're not. You're a soul that's been here, that has gained knowledge that cannot be measured, but only expressed. I would like all of you to realize that. I don't care if you're a plumber, sanitation person, whether you're a gardener, or whether you're president or chairman of a board or whatever you were, a doctor, lawyer, or whatever. Makes no difference. That knowledge needs to be shared now with the younger generation, even with your parents, because they will gain some knowledge and understanding because they're feeling lost. They're feeling abandoned. What happens is, you put them in a nursing home or assisted living, adult living. Maybe you see them 2, 3 times a year, maybe not at all. so they feel lost. And that's because we're so busy, we forgot who we are, what our purpose is. And when you remember that you're a mother, father, a parent, or a child, or a daughter, that's what you are. And your purpose is to learn from your parents, and then from your parents to share what you've learned, which can be a lively and wonderful conversation. But more importantly, after the conversation, you've drawn each other closer together so you don't have to really agree. I see to you as getting a paper, which means we're running short on time. I could talk more about this, but I want to sum this up, so we'll go a few minutes over. And that is, don't sell yourself short. You see, every experience you've had has empowered you. Every experience you have created your life. Every experience you've had, directly or indirectly by your actions, you have shown your children and your other family members. And every experience you've had now has laid down a foundation for future generations, because you are the role model, your example, that's your epitaph. Therefore, never sell yourself short, because you are the leader of your family, even if you're not with them now anymore. You are the leader. And look what you've accomplished. Whether you have a multi-billion dollar home, $1 million home, just a normal home. It's not important. It's important how you lived your life and what did you teach your family and your children. And it's never too late now to not share that information. So with that point, we're about to close. And I really want to remind all of you several different things. And I would like to remind you of, we have the Words of Wisdom call-in every Tuesday evening at 6:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m., where you can ask all kinds of questions. Can you stump Michael? It used to be a TV show. Can you stump Michael? Well, maybe you can. I don't know. We'll channel the information, then a 10-minute message. And you can reach me by the following telephone number.
When you dial in to 202-926-1059, and the access code
125-446-pound.
I'll give that number again, and I'll make sure I put everything in the comments as well. 202-926-1059.
And the access code is 125-446-pound. But I wanted to share something with that number and take a little out of context. Therefore, the second Saturday of every month, I have what I call a mass consciousness healing. And what we do is we get on the phone. I use Zoom. No, I don't. I use freeconferencecall.com.
It's not a Zoom.
Yeah.
It's a phone call.
And using freeconferencecall.com, and using that, what I do is give about a 3-4 minute, introduction. Starts at 9:55 a.m. Sometime around 11:03, 11:02, we bring through the energy of love through our hearts. You can feel it, and then we go into silence until approximately 10:58. Then I get back on by 11:01. We're done. But you are making a difference, and you are the solution. So I encourage all of you to call in.
Mark it on your calendar. Pardon me. Mark it on your calendar. It's the second Saturday of every month. And I'm sorry you missed the amazing one we had yesterday.
But
however,
there's one coming up. And just remember, after somewhere around 10:04, 10:05, if you tune in late, you hear silences. Not that we're not doing it. We're now doing the energy work of bringing about unconditional love from the true source to everything on this planet. So if you hear silence, nothing wrong. You'll hear me get back on towards the end of it. And the telephone number is?
Yeah, dial into that one. And if it's silent, join us. Stay. Right? It's at 202-926-1059. And
the access code is 125-446-pound. It's the same as the Words of Wisdom call-in. So I wanted to share that. But there's one more thing, actually 2 more we want to share with you. And that is every every Sunday at 7 p.m., we do this little podcast where we deliver a message. And we've got a couple years worth. So we invite all of you to listen to the messages that we have to share. Tia has great input, and we work very well together. I bet it was a little shorter input this evening, but nevertheless, she has great input. And it's the synergy of our energy that makes these things so successful. So remember, 7 p.m. every Sunday, Pacific Standard Time or Daylight Time. And here's the last one. You're going, when are they going to be through?
We're going to be done in a minute. Michael has some phenomenal messages that are recorded at the last 10 minutes roughly of his Tuesday night Words of Wisdom call-in. And you can access those calls or those recordings at 434-300-4170. And
the access code is 125-446-pound.
Well, I'm going to give that number one more time. It's 434-300-4170.
And the access code is 125-446-pound.
We love bringing these messages to you. He's such a goof. We love bringing all these messages to you, yup. And we look forward to your comments, your feedback, and bring your friends. If they don't get to come at 7:00, that's okay. The recordings are on our Facebook pages and also up on YouTube. So definitely hit the subscribe button and become a YouTube member on our page, because we have a lot of other golden nuggets rolling in. And on that note, are we ready, Michael?
Just one moment before.
Oh, no.
Check out our YouTube. It's under Dr. Michael Gross and or Michael Gross. I have some YouTube messages. And your YouTube messages are under?
My name. Wait, my name. I think it's my name. I'm going to have to look.
Tia Knapp.
I think it's Tia Knapp. Yeah.
Yes.
And you'll know it's me because it'll say Healing the Holes in Your Soul on the banner. And and I'm embarrassed, but there's a little quick 5-minute video on my page. So, Michael helped me do it. So on that note, we have such a good time. We bring all kinds of fun information to you, and start here with the spiritual primer. Oh man, there we go. Spiritual primer, best gosh darn book I've ever read.
And Healing the Holes in Your Soul, one of the most fantastically powerful and motivating books.
Stop hiding behind my book, Michael. Sometimes my words of wisdom are short. Today it was like, I didn't know they could do that stuff with the Boeing planes. Or whatever airplanes.
They've been doing it for years. So
well, you know what? We learn something new every day, no
Absolutely.
matter how young and old we are.
Yes.
And that's the power of what we do. On that note, thank you so much, everybody, for coming. And we will be back Sunday at 7. Have an awesome night.
Have a beautiful week. Remember us, share this with so many other people so we can really not so much gain a following as much spread our words to empower all of you who spend this time to be with us. Thank you.
One more thing. Michael has a quote, and I might butcher it out, but there are only two energies, one of love and anything that's not love. And love is the most powerful energy there is. Always, always listen to your soul and be of love, because that is the one thing that will change the energy on our planet. Right, Michael?
Absolutely.
And I probably butchered his quote, but you get the idea.
You're fine.
Okay.
So thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Just remember, we love you. We appreciate you. You are very special. Bless you and have a great week. Share this wisdom with everyone. And we wish you to know. Namaste.
Namaste. You are unlimited.
You are unlimited. Thank you, everyone.
Man, he does that so well. Ciao.